Welcome back, Patriots. Let's go ahead and get started on our Unit 5 review. I apologize if there is any background noise here. I'm actually at the homecoming game right now. It's halftime, and I am recording this video because I know you guys need it. So let's go ahead and get on this. I'm just going to go through these all one at a time. Remember, the best way to use this video is not to just copy down everything that I do, but is to try each problem on your own first and then go ahead and watch it to make sure that you know how to do the problem. So first off, I'm looking at number 1, and I see that I am in standard form. And in order to get the equation from standard form to slope-intercept, which is what I need because I'm looking for the slope, I'm going to have to solve for y. Now, the way that I do that is by subtracting 3x on both sides. Now, what that's going to leave me with is 4y is equal to negative 3x plus 2. Now, I'm going to divide both sides, not just both sides, everything by 4. And I'm going to come up over to the side now to do it because I ran out of room. 4 divided by 4 cancels, leaves me with y equals. Then I've got negative 3 over 4x plus 2 over 4 is 0.5. Remember, my slope, I find that in front of the x, the coefficient of x. So my answer is m equals negative 3 over 4. Moving on to number 2, write an equation that best represents the line if the slope is tripled. So the first thing I need to do is write an equation of the line as it is. So I need to find my slope, and I need to find my y-intercept. So I'm going to do that y-intercept first. X-coordinate is always 0, and the y-coordinate is positive 4. Now, my slope is going to be a fraction, and that is rise over run. So I'm going to go ahead and make this right triangle here. Looks like my rise is 3, and my run is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that is going down, so make sure I put a negative sign on here. It's going down as it's going from left to right. It is going down. So that's negative 3 over 4 is my slope. So the original equation is just y equals negative 3/4 x plus 4. But it's asking me to do this if the slope is tripled. So what I'm going to do is take the slope of negative 3/4 and multiply that times 3. Now, remember, when you multiply a fraction times a whole number, that is actually a fraction too. So you multiply the tops and multiply the bottoms, so that becomes 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 1 is 4, and that whole thing is negative. So my new equation, after it's tripled, is y equals negative 9/4 x plus 4. Number 3, the graph of the line is y equals negative 8x plus 12. What is the new equation if the slope is cut in half? Well, here my slope is just the coefficient of x. Cut that in half, and I've got negative 4. So I've just got y equals negative 4x plus 12. Okay, moving on to number 4. This is one of our problems where we're having to interpret the slope and the y-intercept. So the cost to repair a car is shown on the graph. What does the slope of the line mean? Well, this is cost of repairing a car, and I'm just going to pick 2 points and look at my rise and my run. So my run here is 1 hour to go from 1 to 2 is 1 hour, and then my rise here is from 100 to 50 is $50. So to interpret that, the slope is rise $50 divided by 1 hour. So what does the slope mean? Well, it looks like that is the cost per hour to get the car repaired. Moving on to number 5, what does the y-intercept mean? Well, my y-intercept is over here, and that is at 0.50. And remember, that is 0 hours means that we get charged $50. Now, remember, that doesn't actually mean that if he doesn't do any work, that's $50. That means that's his starting charge, or that's his base rate. So he starts his rates at $50. There's a lot of different things you could put there, but as long as you're indicating something that says he is actually starting at $50. Okay, number 6, multiple choice. What happens to the graph of y equals 8x compared to the linear parent function? Now let's remember our linear parent function is the line y equals x with a y-intercept of 0 and a slope of rise 1, run 1, positive 1. So there's our linear parent in blue. Now, 8x, I'm just going to do a rough sketch of this. Y-intercept is still 0, but I'm going to run 1 and rise 8, because remember that's 8 over 1. So run 1, rise 8, way up there. I meant to be doing that in green, I'm sorry. And that line looks like it has the same y-intercept, so it's not shifted in any direction at all, but it is getting steeper. So my option there is C. Okay, now what happens to the graph of y equals x minus 6? I'm going to go ahead and do this one now in purple. Now, that one looks like it's got a y-intercept of negative 6, so we're going to negative 6. The slope is still 1 over 1, so I drew this kind of bad, but these two lines are going to be parallel because they have the same slope. So since they're parallel, it's not steeper or less steep. And to go from the blue to the purple, it looks like I went down. So my answer is going to be B. It shifts down.
Next, we have Tenor Blue. Tenor represents.
All right, next page. So graph shows the amount owed over the lifetime of a laptop loan. The word loan there is important. That means that we've taken money away from somebody and we're having to pay him back. Use the graph to answer the questions. State the x-intercept. Okay, x-intercept is where y is 0, which is going to happen right there. So right here. So it looks like that happens at 10, 0. Now, that means that in 10 weeks, we owe, now that word owed here is important, we owe $0. Now, the way that we interpret that, if you're paying a loan off and you owe somebody money, when you finally owe $0, that means you paid them off. So we paid off the loan in 10 weeks. Okay, our y-intercept, and do that in green. Y-intercept is over here. That is the point 0. It looks like that's 1,000. What is the meaning of that? Well, that means at 0 time, that's the starting value. So we started owing $1,000, or the initial loan was $1,000. Okay, our slope, we got to pick 2 points that it goes through. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and use the 2 points we already have. Here, my y-intercept all the way down, that means my rise is 1,000 and my run is 10. So my slope is 1,000 over 10, and that's dollars per weeks. If I reduce that, I'm going to have $100 in 1 week, so it's 1 over 100. I'm sorry, I wrote that wrong. 100 over 1. And what does that mean? Well, we're making payments on our loan, so we're going to pay $100 per week. Okay, isolate y. This word isolate is another word for solve. We're trying to get y by itself. So we're going to drop our vertical line down here. And now we're going to subtract. I'm sorry, first thing we're going to do is distribute our slope. So we've got y plus 3 equals 1/2 times x is 1/2 x, and then 1/2 times 4 is 2. Now our next step, we've got to subtract the 3 off of both sides. And so we've got y equals, those two are going to cancel, 1/2 x, and then 2 minus 3 is minus 1. Now, really, this right here should be written on this blank, so you can recopy that down again if you want to. Our slope, again, is the number in front of x, the coefficient, so it's just 1/2, and our y-intercept is the number on the end, so it is 0, -1. Okay, number 12, we now have standard form, and we've got to convert that into slope-intercept. So let's go ahead and first we're going to move our x. So we're going to add 4x to both sides. That's going to leave me with 8y is equal to. Now I'm going to choose to write this 4x in front because order of addition does not matter. Now I'm going to divide everything by 8, and that's going to leave me with y equals 4 divided by 8 simplifies to 1/2 x minus 24 divided by 8 is 3. And again, that is what goes on that line. Once again, the slope is the coefficient of x, so again we have 1/2. And our y-intercept is the number on the end, 0, -3. Okay, number 13, very similar process. We're going to add 2x. Now, don't get messed up on the idea that over here the x was in the first position and here it's in the second position. Whatever its position is, we're going to move the x over first. So we're going to add 2x on both sides. That's going to leave me with 4y is equal to 2x plus 12. Now we're going to divide both sides by 4. And that's going to leave me, I'll write this in the right place this time, y equals 2 divided by 4 simplifies to 1/2 x. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And now I'm going to write those in the proper place. Slope is 1/2 again. And our y-intercept is 0,
for the moment we
3.
Have been waiting for. The crowning of our 2020
now,
homecoming king and queen.
Number 14.
ECU homecoming king, presented by
We're going to distribute.
Is Giovanni Ramirez.
So we've got y minus 5 is equal to -2 times x is -2x. -2 times 1 is -2. Now we're going to add 5 on both sides. And that leaves me with, go ahead and write the right spot, y equals, oh, I've already got that, -2x, -2 plus 5 is plus 3. So our slope here is -2 over 1. And my y-intercept is 0, 3. Okay, moving down, we're going to first plot our y-intercept, which here is -4. Jump down, put the -4. Now remember, this is actually 2 over 1, so we're going to, it's negative, so we're going to fall 2, run 1. We're going to go the other direction as well. Rise 2, run 1 several times. And so there is our, oh, I totally messed up. That's why I usually use a straight edge on this. Okay. Now, for this one, in our point slope, remember the initial point we're going to go through here.
Congratulations, Sierra.
We're going to take this, x minus 1, change the sign, and it gives me a positive 1. We're going to take our -4 over here and change the sign, and that gives me a positive 4. So we got the point 1, 4. We place our point. And now we supply our slope 2 over 1 to that point. And rise 2, run 1. I'm going to go the other way as well. Down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Draw our line. Oh, I guess I should have written that point over here. That should have gone there. Okay, now on our next one, our y-intercept is going to be positive 2. We're going to put it right here. And then our slope of 1/2, we are going to rise 1 and run 2. Rise 1, run 2. Rise 1, run 2. I'm going to go both directions on that, give me a few points, and then draw my line across. Number 18. Now our initial point that we're using, get our x-coordinate, we got the 5 there, change that to a -5, always change the signs on these. Get a -3, change that to a positive 3. So we're going to go to the point -5, 3 and plot our point. And now we got our slope 1/2. Sorry, stream arc there. We're going to rise 1, run 2, rise 1, run 2. And there is my line. Okay, first we're going to write this in slope-intercept form and then graph it. Well, same process as before. We are going to subtract 2x on both sides. and that's going to leave me with 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 12. Now we're going to divide everything by 3, and that's going to leave me with y equals negative 2 over 3x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So my y-intercept here is 0, 4. Comes from that right there. Going to plot that. And then my slope is negative 2/3. So from that initial point, we're going to fall to run 3. Fall to run 1, 2, 3. So now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to cut this video off for a second because I've got to go and work the game the second half. We'll pick this up in a few seconds for you guys, or probably about an hour for me.